There's one thing that separates humans from the rest of the animal kingdom. One difference between all of us and all of God's creation. One difference between your God-given destiny and sleeping in the doghouse. That one thing is your ability and my ability to make a choice. To choose what we will or will not do, what we will or will not say, and who we will and will not be. The right to choose is something that is very unique to human beings. We're the only species on our planet who truly have a right to choose. Dogs are going to be dogs. Cats are going to be cats. They don't make a choice to be something different. But we, as human beings, can choose our destiny. Yet the great tragedy for many of you is that you've given up your right to choose for yourself. See, you let your folks tell you that you're not good enough. You let your family tell you that your dream is way too big. You let your children become the center of your universe. You let your boss belittle you because you're too afraid to quit. You let your doctor tell you that there's no cure, no hope, and no more miracles. You let your own mind tell you that you are worthless. And over time, you begin to believe all those lies that the enemy wants to tell you. You sell yourself short of your God-given destiny and your purpose on this planet. When you give away your right to choose, you're actually making yourself a victim. And you start playing the blame game. You start making excuses for why you are not excelling in this life. You blame other people. You blame the circumstances. You blame your health. But really the only thing to blame, the only person to blame is you. It is 100% your fault if you are not excelling in this world. It's 100% your fault if you're not reaching your destiny, if you're not reaching your potential. Stop doing it. You're in a self-defeating cycle and you have to take back your right to choose. You know, when somebody tries to motivate us, most of the time we want to discredit that person. We want to say, hey, you don't know what I go through. You've never been through what I've been through. Well, let me just share with you that I have been there. I know what each one of you are going through. In God's wisdom, He allowed me to go through so many things in my 44 years of life that I can relate to almost any person. And I see that as a blessing, but I also see it as a curse because sometimes I don't want to go through those things. When I was 16 years old, I was a high school athlete. I had to make a decision to choose my destiny. To make a really long story short, during my junior year of football, I broke my lower 5 vertebrae. Every medical expert that I went to told me that I would never play sports again. And I would be really lucky to just live a normal and active life. One doctor even sat me down and he said, make sure you get a good education because the only way that you're going to be successful in this life is to do something that doesn't cause you to be active. By the time you're 30, you'll probably not be able to move anymore. You'll not be able to do anything physical. 16 years old and I'm being told this. You know, after that initial shock, that intense anger, the anger at God, the anger at the circumstances, and seemingly endless tears, I made a choice. I chose not to believe the doctors and to believe in God and believe in myself. Then less than a year later, I was starting third baseman for my high school baseball team. And I hit over 400 that year. 2 years later, as a college sophomore, I was a starting catcher at Lander University. At the end of my collegiate career, I was invited to try out with several major league teams. You know, since that injury, since breaking my back, I've lifted weights at least 3 times a week for most of the last 30 years. I even boxed professionally when I was in my early 30s. And at 44, right now, I am working to become the oldest person to ever receive their PGA Tour card. Listen to me. I would never have had the experiences and the blessings if I would have listened to all of the naysayers, all of the critics, all the doctors, and even my own family members. They were telling me to quit, to give up on my dream to play baseball, to give up on what I believed was my destiny, my purpose at that point in my life. I made a choice. I chose to endure day after day each bloody batting practice, as the brace I was required to wear tore into my skin with every swing. I chose to persevere day after day when my whole body and most of my mind told me that my dream was impossible. I chose to believe in God and in myself when no one else would. Trust me, I have been there, and I've walked the road that many of you are walking now. I have an abuse history. I have severe mental illness. I have chronic migraines. I've had my closest friends and family betray me. I come to you with the authority that comes from experience to tell you that you have a choice. I come to you with the empathy that comes from experience, and I'm telling you that you have a choice. It's high time that you quit the whining, the moaning, the belly aching, and the blaming. It's high time that you get up off the floor, that you get out of the bed, you get up off the mat, and you fulfill your divine destiny and your God-given purpose on this earth. It is high time for you to choose life.